we'll start by the introduction.
My name is Indraneel Dutt, and I'm working in the product division at Novopay. It's a retail business, mid-sized business, which is going on for 8 to 10 years. And we are catering to the retail business all over the country, basically for the Aadhaar-based payments. And we are also focusing now on DtoC products as well, especially in the ONDC market as well.
I'm Vittal Shetty. I'm having nearly 30 years of experience in Vijay Bank. Now I am working. Am I audible? Yeah. I am now working as a member, board of management for Suco Bank, headquartered at Bellary.
Hi everyone, I'm Ankit. I work with Simpl, and currently over the last 2 years I've been working on a product that has been primarily focused on the D2C industry. I work with over 500 brands, and one of the key aspects over here is you get to work with so many founders, you get a lot of insights, and one of the things that I absolutely love about my current role is I get to speak to so many people, advise them on how they can improve their business, work on their CROs, work on beyond the website. What do you do? How do you build a brand? So these are few of the things that I absolutely love doing. So yeah.
Yeah. So these 10 years, like if I compare, like e-commerce have like increased, and after COVID there was a major shift, and for the brands who are basically dealing with finance has also like tried different avenues. So for example, Ankit, I want your feedback on this. Like Simpl have also evolved with time, and the D2C brands, like earlier the brands were more focused on the retail environment, now they have shifted to the e-commerce part. And as I can guess, Simpl is basically a payment you can just give me the introduction of Simpl and how it's basically useful for D2C. Why will people choose Simpl, not the other brands?
Sure. So I'll break this question into two parts. What does Simpl do? Simpl started in 2016 as a buy now, pay later option. And over the next 5-6 years, we've partnered with over 20,000 plus brands, facilitating the buy now, pay later option. So what happens with buy now, pay later is, and what is the unique value prop, right? So in the funnel, if we look at any checkout funnel, look at website funnel, as we go deeper into the funnels, we will see that, there is something towards the end. Let's say I'm extremely interested in purchasing a particular, product from a brand, right? And then, I go to the next step. I'm right there at the payment stage. That's where the intent is the highest, right? So in situations like that, where your intent is the highest, most of the products that are out there, let's say credit card, average payment success rate would be in the 80s, right? Net banking, 60s, wallets around 70s. So Simpl, what we do is we are a buy now pay later company that enable a truly one click, one tap checkout. So what happens is your conversion rate of the payment success rate is somewhere around 99.7, which is the closest to COD, cash on delivery. So this is what Simpl does, and somewhere in 2020, 2021, we realized that we can go one step further. D2C brands are coming up, and there are so many avenues for D2C brand, for anyone over here to come and set up a shop, right? You have so many enablers. You have Shopify, you have WooCommerce, you have BigCommerce. You can set up a website almost instantly. Then we realized that what happens is we, the D2C brands especially, need to fight for trust. Trust is a very, very tough thing. We broke the trust barrier over a long period of time. Somewhere in the back of our minds, right? Yeah, I'm buying it online. What if it's a fraud? So what we did is we came up with a solution that is basically giving you a e-com-like experience across all D2C brands. So that is the product I help build at Simpl. So what it is basically whenever you're trying to check out, right? Your addresses are pre-filled. Your payment modes are selected in advance, regardless of which D2C brand you are on. So what happens here is you are very familiar with the payment modes, you're familiar with the checkout structure, and hence your conversion rate increases. So traditionally, what we saw was our conversion rate, that is when people are starting their checkout journey, in India was somewhere around 22-23%, the conversion rate. And the rest 70-75% of people who are not able to check out, that is a lost opportunity, right? So now with us, our product, it's been able to go from 25 to somewhere around 40-45, and we are working on improving it even further. So that is the value prop.
Right. So, sir, like as Ankit was sharing the journey of Simpl, Suco Bank has helped many of the manufacturers, SMEs, businesses to reach the goal of starting the business. Abhi, we are talking about technology, D2C. For anybody to start a business and like reach out to the stage of D2C, what do you think, like how your bank has helped, and what are your like advice to the people who are starting? And like finance is the base of something that you need to start. So like what is your advice on that?
See, earlier these particularly banks, they were risk averse. Wherever our main intention was, whatever money I advance to the borrower, whether it will be come back. And I will take that securities, whatever securities are there, I will lap it up and say, because my focus was to ensure that because I have to safeguard the interest of my shareholders as well as my depositors.
जो पैसा गया है वो आए वापस कैसे?
That's why we used to take very strict on security. Now that has gone, because now particularly startups, SMBs and SMBs, they have come up with novel ideas, and without any middlemen, they are able to market their products easily, and their profit margin is also high. And they also now tie up with the big corporates and getting their mentorship like that, so that we will ensure that our getting back money will not be a difficult proposition. Youngsters are ready to take risk, so we will also take risk, so that the risk comes less.
So it's all about like if you have an idea, you have got finance without any collaterals or security.
Not only that, even government also come out with various schemes. Now, particularly this new Prime Minister's new employment, 50% of the subsidies are given by the government. Even under SME, this one, under a trust, up to 25 lakhs if we give advance, if even that loan becomes bad, we will get from that insurance company.
Right.
So that we need not to take, because there are various, just like that venture capitalist all, just like now Catamaran from Infosys founder chairman, and Ratan Tata, they are all helping because they earned a lot from the society. They want to give back to the society, and we tie up with these people so that we encourage more finances, so that more industries come up.
So coming back to our topic, sir, like is there any success story in terms of D2C brand? जहाँ पे कोई brand they were like manufacturing their products, now they are just selling their products not through the retail store but through online. So is there any success story like?
No, online this one because we particularly cooperative banks, we
Are
work
into
in
small, medium businesses,
small
yeah.
and medium, and we work in remote areas. Particularly our bank is working in North Karnataka area. So as an advisor, we say that you take risk. At the same time, in areas like North Karnataka, the opportunities are more. So they encourage them, and particularly youngsters, they are ready to work. They, even now when our Infosys ex-chairman was telling that you have to work 17 hours a day, there are people, youngsters, who are ready to come up. But there are people who may oppose that view also. But then as a financial institution, as a bank, it is our duty to see that we help them so that they grow up, so that the economy also grows up.
So about you, like Novopay, how does that idea come up? Because that is again being a financial institution. Also, like that idea was also totally different from the basic traditional things that were going in the finance.
Yeah, so I'll start with what exactly the company is doing. It's been a decade we are in Aadhaar-based payments. In today's life, not many people know that using your biometrics, you can actually do money transfers. We have a limit, we have checks into place which RBI has regulated as well. You can't transfer more than 10,000 rupees at one time. That is the regulation right now. But majority of the tier 3 and tier 4 city people and who come to urban areas to work in factories and have to send back money into their houses. They would have some sort of one bank account for the entire house, and they would be transferring the money. Now, they don't have a bank account of their own. So they go to the nearby retail outlets, tell them that, okay, I want to transfer this money. They give the physical cash to the retailer. The retailer transfers the money digitally to the bank account which is given into the entire process. Like Ankit was mentioning about having details about a lot of customers. So how technically that is possible when you are like combining with a lot of account aggregators and payment aggregators. They have got a lot of information. Like previously as well, a lot of one of the presentations it was saying that a lot of companies got a lot of data. So nowadays, what majorly the fintech institutions are doing, we are getting a lot of information from these companies. We know that the customer is coming to us. Now we know the information about the customer. Very simple. You just need the mobile number of the user and you get a lot of information. You just need the PAN number of the user, you get a lot of information. The entire credit history. Based on that only, the Simpl is also giving the credit worthiness of that particular user as well. So I've also built BNPL product earlier, but one of the things which is associated with both of them is risk defaults. So there is a risk covered that, okay, the businesses are insured. We get back the money. But a lot of times, a lot of fraud activities, you would agree to that, sir. Yeah, you will also agree. In BNPL as well, a lot of fraud activities happen. In any fintech, you say money movement value chain, there are a lot of loopholes over there. And people have built a lot of fraudulent activities where they are trying to get back the money and not repay to the fintech institutions. At the end of the day, who bears the money? The FIs. The fintech institutions are bearing the money because the bank will give the money to the fintech institution and we have to repay that to them. So we have to adhere to the regulations of the RBI and PCI to have a much more command over the entire money movement value chain. That is one, and have to be much more strict towards getting the documents out of the customers.
Right. I have seen like after COVID, the financial institutions have increased, the fintech companies have increased in terms like they are directly giving, like if I just upload a PAN card or a Aadhaar card, I get a loan of 10,000, like be it Simpl or anything. So like one thing is key, again you said about the getting the payment back. So how do you think you cope up with those defaulters, and how do you think like is it okay to just like upload your PAN card and Aadhaar card and get the whole payment thing? What is your views on that?
I mean, there are two parts to that. One is from the customer's point of view, one is from a company's point of view. Now, the customer may have problems in uploading your PAN because if someone asks me about my PAN, I would first read the regulations first, terms and conditions, why the person is asking me for my PAN.
You are actually aware about those things, but generally if in case जो normal if I say about Gen Z, they do not have any information. अगर उनको cash की ज़रूरत पड़ी, again buy now pay Simpl, I will ask that question later, because that again there is a जो पहले people used to think like I need to save money. That has not been like कि अगर मुझे ये पसंद है I have to buy that. So buy now pay later has increased that कि salary आएगी then I'll pay that. So for the people who are into Gen Z or the people who has the like craving of something like I want to buy that or something, so that has also like the financial responsibility has decreased among the coming generation and who are like basically coming. So for the payments also for the company, is there any social responsibilities for that also?
Yep, absolutely. First of all, I would like to mention that Gen Zs are much more aware about the regulations. They are much more aware about what all things. They are evasive about what all things can I upload, what all things I can't. Because if you consider Sir's generation, they were very apprehensive about uploading documents, and especially digital documents. Then when our generation came, we are okay with uploading documents because we know that we have learned a lot. Paytm is there, Google Pay is there. Now you can see in all these applications, a lot of UI changes would be there. Like we are written that, okay, according to bank regulations, terms and conditions, we take a consent from the user as well. We store that consent for 6 months duration as well. These are adhered by the banks, and RBI tells them to have all those consent into the place, because there are audits. Companies will default when the audit happens.
And many fintech companies have been closed because of.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are not, like recently you can take Paytm's example as well, though what was happening is that they were using their own bank, but they were not adhering to all the rules and regulations. Now, what they have done, they have changed their bank. So that is what a lot of times happen when you are not following the rules and regulations, especially from like I would say more from a customer's point of view. Company should be very much following the rules and regulations which are laid down by, let's say, if I talk about fintech, then by RBI, by NPCI, or any particular financial product you're working with, there is a regulatory entity which is actually regulating that particular money movements and handling those financial products. You have to adhere to that as well.
Just to close down this discussion, I wanted to know like D2C segment has emerged and the brands have emerged. What is your thinking in terms of the future of finance? Like normal banking has not been there. Like I might not have used my debit card from a long part because like everything has been online. So what do you think is the future of D2C and the financial institutions that you are building?
A very interesting question. So, for this, we'll just break it down into two parts, okay? The first part is in any D2C brand, all right? You will have to look at the share of the prepaid versus the COD, right? Postpaid. Now, in India, no matter how many amazing brands come in, no matter how easy it becomes to make UPI transactions, no matter how many cards are there, how many neobanks come, how many reward points you get, the trends that we have seen across D2C has always been 70+% in cash on delivery. And this has something to do with taking tier 2 and tier 3 audience and and beyond, right? As you go in, the preferred mode of payment is always going to be cash. Now, we at Simpl have come in, we've tried a khata, that is, buy now, pay later. In addition to that, we also experimented and succeeded at Pay in 3, where you pay the first, third now, and second and third you can pay in some time. A lot of other banks, a lot of other players, a lot of credit cards are doing that. Now, the future of this, right, as soon as, UPI came in, and currently when we are looking at in the 30% share, all right, approximately 80% in that 30% share, 24% approx, is coming from UPI, right? And the rest of the players are playing in that 6% bracket, 10% bracket, and that's how it's going to be. It's easier, accessibility, people know how easy it is to use, the chances of fraud is significantly less. So these are some of the things we have to look at it in terms of an end customer point of view and build on it. So primarily, the future is, of course, the COD share is going to reduce, but it's going to be taken over by UPI.
I can add to that. When now the cash on delivery is there or prepaid everything, but as goes by, earlier, because now every data of all the D2C as well as the client individuals and companies are available for the banks. So the future is, installment payment will be more. You take now and pay later. That is the possibility is there.
But I think that's also a threat.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to see this, why is this happening? Okay, if we see what all payments is possible on UPI, that is right now a P2P payment is 1 lakh limit and a P2M, person to merchant payment is 2 lakhs. Now, these are small amounts. These are not large chunk of amounts. Like Sir was mentioning and Ankit was also mentioning that these are mostly repayments. Now, repayments are broken down into chunks. So those chunks, whether it be EMIs or EDIs, they are not very large amount. And hence, the amount becomes small and hence UPI becomes possible. Now, if you go to the complete blockchain of UPI, it is much more simpler than IMPS, NEFT, and RTGS. That is where UPI is being successfully implemented not only in our country, but in other countries as well. You have seen now Paris has implemented, Singapore has also implemented. So it is very similar type of money movement, but see, there are a lot of levels between money goes from one bank to another bank. And a lot of the entire money movement happens through NPCI as well. So when you reduce the amount of institutions or blocks in between the money movement, the process becomes much more faster and simpler. That is basically the difference between UPI and IMPS. And that is where more and more digital payments, that is first, is happening and more UPI payments are happening.
So we have a less time. We'll take one question from the audience. Any questions? So that's it. Thank you so much, guys. We had such a great session, and we look forward to have more like one-on-one session with you people. Thank you.